Hi everyone, I'm Saujanya Gumadjala. I'm the Communications Manager for Capricorn Power. We're doing a Meet the Team series. It's just a way for you to get to know our team a little bit better. And today we have a very special guest. He's our newest director, and he's also a former Treasurer Victoria, Rob Jolly. Hi Rob, how are you today?
Very good, Sajanya, and look forward to the interview.
Thanks so much. So we might as well just jump in. Can you tell us about your background in environmental economics and when you first became interested in renewable energy?
I basically became interested in renewable energy and environmental economics in 1990. That was a critical period for Victoria. I became Parliamentary Secretary of Cabinet during that time and undertook quite a lot of research into environmental economic issues, including waste to energy and recycling. And I got involved with the Minister of Small Business to develop a green directory of businesses in Victoria. And that was, I think, one of the first directories of green businesses that existed in Australia. So that was my first hard involvement. I also enrolled for a PhD in ecological economics at Melbourne University. I never finished that because, one, there was no one at Melbourne University who had knowledge of environmental economics. And secondly, elections came upon me, and that meant that I didn't have time to finish my PhD. So once I left Parliament, I got involved in environmental economics, formed a society for recycling at one stage, and then got approached by Visy Recycling, Richard Pratt, who was CEO, and he wanted me to give advice on recycling and other environmental economic issues. And in particular, they were looking at waste to energy plants at that stage. So that was my first involvement in waste to energy.
That's great. So as chair of the Utilities Trust of Australia, you were across trends in ESG investment by investment funds. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, during the period I was UTA chair, there was a great interest in environmental and social issues generally. Governance has always been an important consideration of UTA, but the main issue as far as the environment was concerned was in fact climate change. And that's still driving issues as far as UTA is concerned now, even though I'm not there. But also the major investors in UTA, which were industry super funds, were developing a greater interest in carbon abatement as well. So they were very keen for UTA to develop its approach. And one of the issues we undertook recently, in fact, just 2 years ago, was start measuring the carbon footprint of our various assets. So that was the first step in reducing carbon emissions, because you really need to know what the value and volume of emissions that you are emitting before you can actually take action. And one of our major assets was Perth Airports, and they introduced a form of waste to energy plant. It was actually using the waste heat from the air conditioning systems at Perth Airport to generate electricity as well, combined with normal electricity methods.
Nice. And so how did you become a director of Capricorn Power?
I was approached by the CEO, Mike Hodgkinson, who I'd known for a number of years and worked with him previously and was very impressed. And also when I was working in the field of environmental economics, namely looking at renewable energy certificates and actually modelling the number of electricity generation sites from renewable energy, I met Jeff Andrews as well. So I've known Jeff for probably 20 years, and I was always impressed with his integrity and the way in which he approached the various energy efficiency issues and also energy generally. So I was very pleased to have a close look at what Capricorn Power was doing, and very interested in the technology that's been developed. And I think it has great prospects for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So you did talk about this a bit. What about the company specifically drew you to it?
Well, I think the team that's been put together by Jeff and Mike is very strong indeed. And the link to Ostend and Lynn Brown and Ross Brown as well is very good, because operating down at a high quality engineering operation is very important to the future success of Capricorn Power. The inventor with a background at CSIRO is also extremely important, and Noel is obviously very passionate about this, as well as having great technical skills. And I had the opportunity of getting a detailed briefing from Noel and the team as to how they're developing it, and I'm very confident that they'll achieve the ultimate engineering success and make the engine a viable and commercial operation.
I am too. Very optimistic for that. How do you believe your background will help the Capricorn team progress with plans to commercialize its heat engine?
My background is obviously economics, politics, and social issues. So I think ESG issues will be at the forefront. And as the company develops, ESG is going to be a major issue. And we need to make sure that any partnership we form with potentially overseas, whether it be a waste management company, a recycling company, or anybody else, we need to check out their ESG history as well. So I think that's one issue. Secondly, because I've been involved with UTA over 9 years, we can look closely at potential investors from superannuation funds and other organisations that have been connected to UTA in the past. I also think the perspective of an economist on the board is helpful, because we have outstanding engineering skills, and increasing the diversity of the board, I think, is very important. I'm sure as we move forward, the board will diversify fully. Also, because of the experience I've had working with people and developing strategic approaches to future operations, I think I can help there as well. But I'd like to really emphasise the team is very strong, and I look forward to working together with all of the board and the executive of Capricorn Power, because I think we've got a great opportunity and the team to make it a success.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the last question, what industries and technologies do you think Australia needs to focus its innovation efforts on most in the coming years, and why?
Well, I think renewable energy is one that's extremely important. We have significant resources of solar and wind, and that's the potentially larger scale operation. But the technology of Capricorn Power is also extremely important, because up to very recently, no one thought it was realistic to actually tap waste energy on a small scale. But Capricorn Power can do that. It can use any source of waste heat. Its engine is contained in a shipping container, and it's very compact. And the other part about it can be scaled up readily. So I think one of the key issues for Capricorn Power is to look at where those waste resources are, and look closely at those that can be tapped on a cost-effective basis. And I think that's going to be the next stage of Capricorn Power, because, as I said earlier, I'm confident that the engineers will sort it out so that we have a viable engine. And the next stage is making sure that we can get good commercial contracts on waste heat.
Absolutely. Rob, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and thanks to everyone else. I hope you enjoyed that. You can find more content like this on our social media channels. Thanks.
Pleasure to talk to you, and have a good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.